Greg Bedard from the Boston Sports Journal. He's on set, on site, ready to report all the latest. Yeah! You want to know? You want to go three deep at guard? Here's your chance.
Yeah, where's Danny from Gloucester today?
Yeah, we're not.
Let's go.
We're not doing that. First of all, Greg, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, babe. How was my first question is, how was the turnout in terms of fans? Did you feel any buzz returning to the situation or what?
Well, I would say the attendance was good. It surprised me. I mean, I would say the stands were 85, 90% packed. There were people on the hill. There were so many people that there was overflow in my normal practice viewing spot. So I basically got kicked out because there were so many fans. So people need to stay away so I can get back into my normal viewing spot. But I thought it was good. I mean, as far as buzz, these practices, especially these first three, or through Saturday, it's very much, it's in the CBA, the reacclimation process. Like, they can only go an hour and 20 minutes today. A lot of individual drills, only 2 team periods. So, definitely not the buzz for like a padded practice, which we should get on Monday. But, I thought it was good. I mean, Diggs catches the first pass from Drake Maye, and, you could definitely notice a cheer. So people, I do think that there's an excitement about the team, and we'll see whether they can maintain it.
Do you agree with your cohort at Boston Sports Journal, Mike Giardi, who tweeted his synopsis today? Some of the bad, pass protection less than optimal. Some would even say subpar. A lot of heat off the tackles. The O-line, did it suck?
Jim goes there right away.
Well, this is your expertise.
No,
exactly.
I know. Let's just say this. Pass protection was not good today. It wasn't. I will say the silver lining in that is that it didn't seem to affect Drake Maye at all. I thought, my stats for Drake Maye were 5 of 5 with 5 sacks. Now, none of those sacks were on him. They were very quick pressure. 2 of them were from Morgan Moses. 1 was from Will Campbell against Keon White. DeMontre Jacobs, the backup right tackle, had 1. Ramondre Stevenson did not pick up a blitz. He had 1. But it was like really quick pressure. But the good thing was, I thought Drake Maye was really comfortable. Even on the plays where he was sacked, he was still, getting completions, I think 4 out of the 5 times. So that was good. But, yeah, not a good start for Patriots pass protection. You can make all sorts of excuses about it, that it's easier to pass block with pads on, the defense is ahead of the offense and all that stuff. But it was not a good start. And I would say probably the most concerning thing was, and I don't know if this is just because he's a veteran and they're pacing him, but Morgan Moses gives up a sack, I think it was on like the second play of team, and he got pulled for DeMontre Jacobs. And he was sort of in and out of the lineup all day in the 2 team periods. And it's surprising because in the film that I've watched of Morgan Moses, he's rock solid. He's almost boring to watch because he does his job. But today was not a good start.
Okay, so, Greg, I don't have it up in front of me at the moment, but when I read your summation, you said that Keon White got one of the sacks, and on the play, he, quote-unquote, blew right by Will Campbell. Is that an accurate representation of what happened? And tell me, how did Will Campbell look specifically?
I thought Will Campbell looked fine. I wasn't watching, him a ton, especially from the angle I was at. He was sort of on the other side of the field. But I thought he looked all right on that play. He tried to get his hands on Keon White and couldn't, and White went right around him.
Couldn't reach him?
Here we go. It's the first day.
I'm just asking, Greg.
Listen, we have a show to do today, so
he missed the block. We'll just say that. I don't know if arm length had anything to do with that. White could have swatted his hands down. I don't know. Keon White's pretty good when he's coming off the edge, but. Yeah, that was a rough rep, but I thought overall, Will Campbell was fine.
Okay. What differences do you see in Drake Maye, if any?
I just, when I see Drake, I just see somebody who's, a lot more confident. I mean, especially from where he started training camp last year. I think he kind of came in a little meekly, and that might be because of his age. He didn't play a ton in college and even his last year in high school. And sort of deferred to Jacoby Brissett, and it probably didn't help that the coaches were saying, we're going to go with Jacoby, and Drake Maye was like, okay, well, I'll just sort of get my work in. And, he didn't come in like gangbusters, like a top quarterback pick should. But I think a lot of that had to do with the situation that the Patriots laid out there. But this year, Drake just looks confident. To me, it looks like a guy who has a lot of confidence in the coaching that he's getting from, McDaniels and Vrabel, and that I think he does have some confidence in his receivers. I know people aren't crazy about him, but, and he mentioned them today. I mean, when you're talking about, Steph Diggs and, Hunter Henry, and when Mac Hollins gets back and Kendrick Bourne, those are guys that have played a lot in this league. And I think that's a comfort level. And also having, Morgan Moses, Drake also mentioned Garrett Bradbury, the center. You're talking about guys who have played in this league a while, know what they're doing, and I think that also gives Drake confidence.
Okay, how about the receivers? Williams apparently had a good day. Your thoughts on Williams and your thoughts on how Diggs looked?
Yeah, Williams did do a good job. He had a couple catches downfield against Gonzalez. At least one, if not both of them, came on a play that, I deemed a sack. But still, I think where he's standing out to me, which is a little bit of a question mark, is his strong hands down the field. Whether it was minicamp or now, he's catching contested balls, which, in college, some of the book was on him that he would have some, easy drops. He would make tough catches, but I think he's doing a good job, and I think his ascension on this team is vital because they don't really have anybody like him on the outside that can give that speed element. So they have a bunch of guys that can operate on the inside. They don't have many guys that can operate on the outside. So the faster he hits, the better it is for everybody. And, Diggs just, he just amazes me. I mean, that he's able to do what he's doing this soon after knee surgery. I mean, I even figured today, even though he was cleared and all that, I figured this might be a day where he's doing mostly individual stuff, maybe, get a rep here and there and team. He was involved from the jump, and he also looks comfortable in his offense, and I do think he's a good fit for what he does. Motion in the slot, inside, can go inside, outside. I think that's something that Josh McDaniels can tap into very easily.
So, Greg, in terms of the offense and how, when I say the offense, could you get any grasp on terms of what they were running and whether it was more McDaniels stuff or entirely McDaniels stuff? Like, can you read into that at all at this stage?
Not really at this stage. I mean, I will say that I was surprised at how much the fullback, Brock Lampy, was involved, especially like early in the team periods. That was a surprise. I mean, I don't think it's a coming in, I didn't think it was a definite that the fullback would be part of this offense. I think it's, the way I understand it, it's more about the player. If they have a player worthy enough at fullback, and Lampy has a good reputation, then they'll make room for a fullback. If they don't have a guy, then they won't. But I haven't noticed, a ton in terms of the offense. To me, it looks somewhat similar. I think they are starting to put in, and Drake even said this, basically today and probably the rest of this week is sort of a review what they've already done. And that's sort of the basics of the McDaniel offense. I do think that they're putting more, they're starting to sprinkle in more space plays where, getting Maye into space, doing things with the running back, a little bit of like read options and things like that. I think that's starting to be sprinkled in, but I think we're going to see more and more of that as we go on.
Okay, Greg Bedard joins us from training camp down at Gillette Stadium from the Boston Sports Journal. He'll be doing his Big Boy Tuesdays, I believe, starting next Tuesday. He also reads his write-ups on the web. He probably does 3 up, 3 down. Do you do 3 up, 3 down from any individual day of training camp? And even
I do it just about every day. Today I did 3 up and 2 down.
Okay, well, here on Felger Mazz, we're going to demand 3 down. Okay, so give me your 3 up and create a 3rd down, please.
So 3 up was Maye, Diggs, and DJ James, the unheralded cornerback, probably like 4th string, who had the interception of Josh Dobbs. By the way, Jim and Danny from Gloucester, I will not be singing the praises of Josh Dobbs today because I had him as 1 of 6, and he sort of sprayed the ball all over the place today. But DJ James, he got an interception. Maye sort of Dobbs threw one up to Javon Baker. It wasn't really close, and James picked it off. 2 down. Morgan Moses with the two sacks, and he was replaced multiple times. Josh Dobbs, of course, and a 3rd down. I guess it would be DeMontre Jacobs, the other right tackle. It just wasn't good on the edges today from anyone. Campbell had the 1 sack. I thought he was okay, fine the rest of the time, but those would be my 3 up and 3 down today.
How do Campbell's arms look, Greg?
Short. I mean, you definitely notice it in person and on the field. And, I'll be interested to see how – I haven't seen him in pads yet up close. I've seen plenty of him in –
Is that going to extend his arms where the shoulder pads lengthen your arms somehow?
I think it's going to look worse, but we'll see how that goes.
Still the number one issue on the team, wouldn't you say, Greg?
No, not to me.
What is?
The number one issue to me is I'm most worried about center. I think that Campbell will at least give you – it will be an improvement over last year. So I'm not really worried about that. And also Josh McDaniels knows how to help him if he's the one guy on the line who needs help. I'm more worried about Bradbury. Good reputation in the run game, but he was pretty horrendous in pass pro last year with the Vikings to the point where, they let him go and they signed I forget. I want to say it was a guy from the Browns. I forget who they signed. But an older guy, for I think less money. And so anytime that happens, it worries you. And, I don't love his film. Jared Wilson, we finally saw him, the draft pick out of Georgia, participate in practice. He didn't do anything in the offseason. He got most of his time at center, sprinkled in a little bit at left guard. And I also point out that Caden Wallace was full-time at left guard today. So I don't know if he's done at tackle or they're still sort of undermanned, and that's why he's there.
Okay. Anything else, big boy?
I think that's about it. Yeah, we hit on everything.
Okay, good. And you can save all the backup guard talk for the website and your podcast and all of that.
Make sure you wear sunscreen, big boy. You look a little pink to me.
Thanks for checking in, Greg. We'll see you soon.
Right. See you guys.